Welcome to APG Pathshala. Today we are going to discuss the module Jainism, and this module is written by Jainism of University of Austria. I am Raghuram Raju, teach philosophy at University of Hyderabad. Jainism is one of the major philosophical systems from India. Often it is branded along with Buddhism as part of heterodox schools of Indian philosophy because they don't accept the authority of Vedas. Jainism is known both inside the Indian philosophical schools or even outside for two important aspects, namely ahimsa, non-violence, and the doctrine of Satyavada. The metaphysical justification for the doctrine of ahimsa is provided by Jainism. The epistemological significance of Satyavada has drawn the attention of several philosophers both in India and outside. As is well known, the doctrine of ahimsa played an important role in 20th century, particularly in the freedom struggle championed by, amongst others, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. So the idea of non-violence used by Gandhi ji in Indian freedom struggle has its roots in Jainism. So there is a important aspect of Jainism that influenced Gandhi. Interestingly, K. Satchidanandamurthy, another philosopher from India, in his book Philosophy in India, points out that the Jainism doctrine of Satyavada made people not to consider Jainism as another philosophical school, but a meta-philosophical school that brought under its umbrella varied philosophical schools, several philosophical schools that were present within India. So they said it is not one more philosophical school, it is a school that accepted not only what it is but also what it is not. So its spectrum is wide, its range is large. So that is the kind of position that Jainism is credited with. So Jainism has a particular special status within Indian philosophical systems. The Jaina tenets are taught over and over cosmic cycles by 24 jinas or tirthankaras. Jainism's main thrust is to help people to cross the ocean of rebirth, samsara, and lead them to mukti. Mahavira, the 24th Tirthankara, became Kevala Jnani after 12 years of severe penance, and he founded fourfold congregations: 1 of the monks, 2 the nuns, 3 the laymen, and 4 the laywomen. What is important to note in this context is that already there is a tendency to treat women along with man in these religious sects. So there is both monks and there are nuns, and there are laymen and laywomen, and these classifications comes straight from Mahavira. There are two major sects in Jainism. There are Svetambaras, the white clad, and they are commented by Haribhadra. Haribhadra incidentally is famous for his book Saddarshana Samuschaya. Whenever people talk about that there are only 6 systems of Indian philosophy, the counter comes in the form of Darshana Samuschaya of Haribhadra and Sarva Darshana Sangraha of Sayana Madhava. Okay, so there are these Svetambaras. The other sect of Jains is Digambaras, the naked ones, and they are commented by Veerasena of 800 CE and Jinasena. There are 4 canons that are crucial in Jainism. One is laying down the monastic laws. Jainas are famous for coming up with a very systematic and a comprehensive rules and regulations of how to organize a monastery, how to organize the ascetic life of the monks. The second important canon of Jains is the examination of false views. That is, that it pays enough attention, it emphasizes on identifying what are the false views and how does one detect what is a false view. So this is a very important function or aspect of Jainism, that is identifying and examining the false views. The third one is to lay bare the doctrine that will tell us about what is the world and how do we know it, and what are the larger rules that makes our conduct towards leading us to right path. And the last canon is the narratives of edification. The Jaina worldview consists of this larger category called that there is a reality. The reality is called as substance, dravya. The dravya consists of jiva, which are souls, and ajiva, which are non-souls. So you have reality and substance, which is dravya, and dravya consists of souls and non-souls, jiva and ajiva. Ajiva further consists of motion, dharma, rest, adharma, matter, pudgala, space, akasa, and time, kala. There are 4 great Mahavratas, and this is what this consists of: ahimsa, non-harming; 2, satya, truthfulness; and 3, asteya, not taking anything that is not given to you. 4th one is brahmacharya, celibacy, and the last one is aparigraha, non-possession. There is a gradation between what is the practice that should be followed by the monks and what is to be followed by the people who lead a family life. Monks and nuns do not possess anything because they are not in the family, and they believe in truth and they believe in the divine order. They cannot possess any property, they can't own anything. They don't even stay at one place except during rainy season, because if they stay in one place, they may develop attachment to that place and not move. Might give different reasons for not moving. So Jains insist that a nun or a monk has to continuously wander, go from one place to other place, so that their services are decentralized or extended to large number of people. So please remember, there is something very interesting about this move. Now, unlike the practice where people go to a worship place or go and meet a guru or a rishi or an enlightened person, Jainism, like Buddhism, insists that the enlightened or the nuns and the monks should reach to the people. So that's an important departure started by both Buddhism and Jainism, Buddha and the Jinas. So what is interesting is that the enlightened ones is not visited by the people, they go and meet people, and in order to see that they meet number of people, maximum number of people, they made sure by making the structural condition, namely no monk or no nun can stay at one place for more than a day, except during rainy season. If it is raining, then obviously they should not be put into inconvenience and forced to move from one place to other place. The other important thing that is laid down for the monks is that they wander, and they wander on foot. They don't take, any travel comforts of going by other modes of transport. They have to wander. The reason why they have to wander is that if you walk, then the chances of your covering the next place without missing that place is more. But if you travel by a fast mode of transport, like any other transport that you take, there is a danger, there is a possibility that you might miss, you might skip some place. So it ensures that wandering on foot ensures that you cover every place and you move from one place to the other and you don't skip. This is a remarkable achievement or a quality or an aspect that surrounds Jainism, and it has a serious implications towards a very non-technical idea of democratization of spirituality, democratization of spiritualism. Okay. The other important aspect of Jainism is controlling thoughts, words and deed. Three important things. They don't make a distinction between the thinking realm or the realm of ideas and the action realm. They find that there is a close relation between our thoughts and our action. So it is not that we can think anything but act correctly, because they would argue that unless you think properly, you will not be act properly. So for you to act properly, you have to qualify, you must meet other two important things, that is, you should speak properly and you should think properly. So that is the reason why they play emphasis on thinking, communicating and action. All the three, the thinking, expressing through language, that is communication, and action, all three are closely related to each other, and they are not to be separated. So they said that you must have, if in order to do a good deed, you must express it, you must use correct language, and in order to express it and express it in a correct language, you must have correct controlled thinking. That is the most important aspect of Jaina ethics. They also insist that the monks have to fast so that their consumption is minimized. They are not drawn towards material life, which diverts their attention from divinity. They are in constant touch with the divinity. So that's the reason why they emphasize on the practice of keeping fasts. They also demand that people should be regularly studying and regularly meditating. They also have this practice called Sallekana, where an enlightened one is allowed by the other priests of the order to voluntarily give up the body, by reducing the consumption of food. Okay, so this is what is called as Sallekana. Now, having identified the strict rules for monks and nuns, the Jainas also come up with a different package, slightly different package, not completely different package, for the people who have family. All Jains are not nuns and monks. There are many of them who are Jains but not nuns and monks, and they accept that in order to sustain the ascetic order, which consists of monks and nuns, there is a necessary to have lay people, and the lay people cannot practice that severe spiritual acts that are important for monks and nuns. These lay people follow asceticism in a lesser degree. So there is a degree of difference. There is a degree of difference of following asceticism by the ascetics who are monks and nuns and the lay people. And the larger corpus of this following that encompasses the lay Jains consist of the following things. They should not harm anybody. So non-harming, which is the principle of ahimsa, is compulsory even for the lay Jains. They are to follow strict vegetarian diet. Their vegetarian consists of some special things, like they should not eat roots, because roots have to be plucked from the soil, and that soil will have several insects, and those insects will be displaced and killed. So they do not allow people to eat even the vegetarian food consisting of roots. They also have to care for animals. They have to meditate. They also have to fast, not as frequently as monks and nuns, but quite often. They also have to give alms to the needy, so that will ensure that you don't just possess, and whatever you possess you also share it with others. So that kind of attachment with material objects is reduced considerably through this act of making it necessary for Jains to give alms. They should restrain in travel and in occupation. This is the important thing, that while nuns and monks are encouraged to move from one place to the other place, they are in fact restrained from staying back in one place except during rainy season. The lay people, in contrast, are asked to avoid travel, because traveling again is not something that is encouraged for the lay people. They should also take to writing. They should illuminate manuscripts. They should copy books. They should build temples and sculptures and statues, so that they propagate the ideals of Jaina doctrine. So, to recall, the major interesting aspect of Jainism is providing a metaphysical base for their ethical doctrines, particularly the doctrine of ahimsa, non-possession, and speaking truth and things like that. So, what is important to remember is that the idea of ahimsa, that is central to Jainism, has its relevance in the 20th century, where people like Mahatma Gandhi used it in the freedom struggle. So, that is why Jainism is not only a philosophical doctrine that that is a profoundly systematic and rigorous. It also has its ethical implications, ethical relevance, not only within Jainism but also outside Jainism. And that is not a small thing, because Gandhi, who used the idea of ahimsa, has made it available for a political program, and he used it to change the nature of politics, which is not a small achievement. And the context of bringing ahimsa into the political arena was also important, because that was a time that had witnessed 2 world wars, and many people thought that violence is inevitable in politics. Against this background of 2 world wars and then lot of communal conflicts within India, Gandhi brings on to the center table of Indian freedom struggle the ideals of ahimsa. So, Jainism in that sense has its impact in an extended way. Okay. Thank you.